looking into the other collateral reasons as to why you should not appear. And I don't think there is a case now. Certainly, it is not their case that this committee has no powers to summon. It is that the reasons, I have reasons for not appearing, and therefore I should not be charged. So that is the criminal aspect. But then, and this is important, Chair, as moving forward, it may not solve, and I'll come to the immediate issue. Going forward, I think this committee really needs to look at what we may call self-help remedies. What is it that this committee can do or should do in and by itself without over-reliance on other coordinate agencies? And I think the representative of the firstly, under Article 125, this committee has the same powers as of the High Court to call and summon witnesses and to compel attendance. Why is it that this committee has the powers to issue summonses but has no powers to issue warrants of arrest? Has this committee ever issued a warrant of arrest? That's number one. So that then, because now the position you put ourselves in is that now we are forced to go and apply to court to get warrants of arrest, yet the Constitution itself gives you the same powers to compel attendance as the High Court. Why has it not issued, and then it become a subject of litigation, whether what is the meaning of the same powers as those of the High Court to compel attendance? Number two, and I say this with tremendous respect, Chair and Honourable Members, I see a bill of 2014, the Parliamentary Privileges and Powers, that is a huge improvement of the current National Assembly powers and privileges. It does actually, Chair, as you know, empower this committee in clause 20, and I'll just, in clause 20, just quickly, the power to impose fines, the committee and the House, on a person who declines or fails to, and to attach the property of that person. It gives you the powers of the court. That's clause 20. Now, the most, and this is the most significant provision also in that bill, is clause 24, where a public officer who fails to honor summonses, that public officer, and under the Constitution, that includes a governor, that includes any other state officer. And it says here, in clause 24, sub-clause 3, where a House passes a resolution that a public officer has contravened subsection, the resolution of the House shall constitute a ground for removal of the public in accordance with the Constitution. Yeah, so in short, what I'm asking, as I'm saying, Chair, there is a lot that this committee and Parliament can do in terms of legislating. Now, let me go to the issue about qualifications. Oh, first of all, this removal from office of the governor. I think it's Article 181. Among the grounds for removal from office in Article 181 is 181(1)(a), gross violation of the Constitution or any other law for removal. Now, if you check, now what is the procedure for removal? The procedure for removal is in Section 33 of the County Government Act, and you will have to go to the County Assembly. Why hasn't Parliament amended Section 33 so that in respect of disobedience to order, you can initiate suo motu proceedings for removal. Now, let's move forward now to qualifications to stand, and this is now the matter present, and I don't want to go into what are the qualifications or disqualifications to stand as governor? The same qualifications as those of a member of an elected member of the county assembly in Article 193. Now, 193 says 1. Unless disqualified under Clause 2, a person is eligible for election as a member of the county assembly if the person in B satisfies any educational, moral, and ethical requirements prescribed by this constitution or an act of parliament. What has stopped this house from including in the disqualification or a qualifications requirement, okay, a person who has hitherto not complied with someone says. Now, moving to sorry, this is at Article 193 G. Sorry, a person who is disqualified. No, 2G, who is disqualified. A person who is disqualified, 2G, has been found in accordance with any written law to have misused or abused a state office or public office, or to have contravened Chapter 6. In short, what I'm saying, Honorable Members, Chair, even as you and I think you are quite entitled to express and manifest your frustration, I think there is also a lot that you yourselves should have done, and legislatively, to clarify the ambiguities in the law and therefore limit this endless litigation. Now, as regard this matter, you will discuss it tomorrow with IEBC, and it is good that EACC would be there. I would suggest that the Attorney General, who is the principal legal advisor under Article 1, be invited also to attend, because this also relates. First of all, he is the chair of the Chapter 6 institutions. Number 2, he is the principal legal advisor to government, and government includes all commissions and independent offices, so that the Attorney General is also able then to give his advisory. And by the way, in the Supreme Court matter, what the Supreme Court said, do not come straight to the Supreme Court to seek an advisory if you have not first of all consulted the Attorney General for his advice. I think it makes a lot of sense to raise the specific issues that have been framed by the Chair. That's what all I wish to say. Thank you.
Yes. But DPP, every time I listen to you here in Parliament, I have no regrets that you became our DPP. What is disturbing me now is that this committee, there's no doubt, we are going to say, one, Governor Wycliffe Ambeza Oparanya is not fit to hold public office. We will not be the first to say this in the last few weeks, because even in the National Assembly, the Public Accounts Committee has also said that Anne Waiguru is not fit to hold public office. Now, having said it is not enough, what, on your advice, should we do, if anything, to ensure that what we say moves from being what we have said to being something which is enforceable? Do you mind? Do you think simply by us saying he is not fit to hold public office is enough for that to provoke IEBC not to accept his nomination papers? Or is it your advice to us that we should do more? Or rather, more should be done? Would it require that a court is moved so that that court can then make an order to the IEBC? And if so, who then should move the court? Should it be the Senate, or should it be, in my thinking, the DPP? The DPP to move the court, that in your expanded jurisdiction of understanding what goes on in public offices, you have found that a man has been declared unfit to hold public office, and therefore you're moving the court that it orders IEBC to comply with that particular finding by the Senate, and of course by extension, in Anne Waiguru's case, by the National Assembly.
KDPP.
Thank you, Chair. And I do not want to assume the role of the Attorney General. Neither do I want to suppose to advise IEBC, because it is not within my competency mandate. But just looking at Article 193, 2G, a person is disqualified from being elected as a blah, 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 if the person has been found in accordance with any law to have misused or abused of, or has contravened. I do not read anywhere there saying has been found by a court of law. Again, my personal opinion. But the authorities, but the authorities about an important issue. Do you have to get a declaration by the court? I do not. That is a matter that I think should be addressed. That is a question that should be addressed to the Attorney General and to the institutions that have the mandate to clear candidates to start.
Thank you so much. Yeah, yes, Bonnie.
Mr. Chairman, because this is a matter that we are transacting through the public, it's good for us to take advantage of the presence of IEBC here and the DPP, so that I make the following statement. From what I hear you saying is that what we have found, or what the National Assembly has found in respect of Anne Waiguru, we should go further as the Senate and as the National Assembly and write to the IEBC telling them that pursuant to Article 193 2G, we have found that Wycliffe Ambedha Oparanya is not fit to hold public office, and therefore his nomination papers should not be accepted. And similarly with the National Assembly Public Accounts Committee in respect of Anne Waiguru. Then if they refuse, we would then need the interpretation from the court to either agree or disagree with us and you that in G it doesn't say it should be the court. It does.
Just add something. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, DPP, and thank you, Bonnie. Let me put it the following. The reason why we called these institutions is because what I said earlier, that we must all work together in ensuring that the Constitution, which people are still learning, by the way, is obeyed and implemented, particularly with regard to devolution, which Senator Karwe said perhaps was the biggest present to Kenyans from the Constitution. Having said that, this committee has gone an extra mile to validate its responsibility with other state institutions, so that together we can appreciate the importance of one another or each other in trying to ensure the use of public funds by all government institutions, in our case, by devolved government. Now, the DPP has really helped us and told us in the final analysis what I've been looking for is actually crystallized in Article 193 2G. That's the fulcrum of the debate. But we need to make sure that we agree on this and we can present a coherent argument to the IEBC by now sitting together with the IEBC, with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, and I'm afraid DPP, I would request you also to be in that meeting. Unfortunately, your office is being overtasked, but you seem to be actually what I would call the owl of Minerva. You know, the owl of Minerva is that bird that rose from his ashes when people thought that it had been finished. Now, we here seem to be rising from our ashes when you say that we are kind of, but you are the owl of Minerva who is really bringing us to life. So we request that tomorrow when we meet with the IBC and EACC, that you also be present so that we can finally crystallize this issue and present it formally to the IBC. IBC, on your part, I think this comes in a very timely manner because you are going to deal with such cases. And now you will find that there's an article in the Constitution where you can anchor your decisions. And this case helps to look at the various issues that may arise with regard to others. Now, the decisions that the IBC is going to make in this election is going to be a precedent to future elections. And it is going to tell public officers, don't take the Constitution for granted. These articles were not meant to be cosmetic. They were meant to be realized in real life. And that the fact that you are in a public office is not a dress rehearsal for the play that is coming. It's actually the play itself. So I do think that it provides us a very good opportunity to set a precedent so that those of us who are seeking public office, especially in this new institution called devolved government, will take our responsibility seriously with regard to the Constitution. And this has been the concern with this committee. And that's why we have been saying that although we thought we had a solution, we needed to bring you forth so that we would know that this is some kind of solution that we share. I would like to summarize it like that so that tomorrow we have this meeting. In the meantime, our Secretariat should write that letter very, very clearly to the IEBC, to the EACC, and to the DPP, and the AG. AG is very important to be here. AG, DPP, EACC, and IBC. And then we shall finalize on matter. After that, whatever decision the IBC makes, I would say that the cross is now yours to bear after our meeting tomorrow. Is that clear? Yeah. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very, very much for coming. And we'll meet you tomorrow. Of course, the Auditor General, you will be here too. Yes.
Even as you wind up the meeting,
yeah,
you remember you had not rotated an opportunity for us to ask the other institutions. Allow me just, they can come and respond tomorrow.
Yeah.
The Office of the Controller of Budget. The question I wanted you to answer is, why have you, without even as little as raising a finger, continued to allow disbursement of funds to Kakamega County in view of the outcry everywhere, from the Senate, from the Office of the Auditor General, from the Office of the DPP? He has actually recommended prosecutions, and you continue to recommend for disbursement of funds. You want to answer tomorrow?
You can answer now. Yeah. Proceed. I thought you did try to answer it, but I don't want to take your responsibility. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. I think based on the Constitution, Article 225 is very clear. It vests the responsibility to stop transfer of funds to counties in the Cabinet Secretary responsible for National Treasury. So that is the institution that is vested with that mandate to make a decision. And when they make that decision, the mandate of the office is to come in and undertake investigation. But even when the Cabinet Secretary has made that decision, the only stoppage is the tune of 50% of what account is entitled to. It's not complete stoppage. It's up to about 50%. Then within a period of 30 days, the controller of budget comes in to undertake investigation, makes a report to Parliament, and in this case Senate, whether that suspension should be withheld or lifted. So we've never encountered such a scenario, but just to answer to your question, the mandate for stoppage of funds is vested in the Cabinet Secretary responsible for the National Treasury.
Mr. Chairman, not so easy. Not so easy at all, because this is one of the reasons why we have been dying to have Oparanya here to respond. According to the internal audit in Kakamega, they are equally perplexed that you don't raise a finger on this flow of cash in spite of the questions. And you know, as you officers come to face us, because we wanted to put this to Oparanya, we'll now put it to you. There is information which we have reason to believe that some officers indirectly at the Office of the Control of Budget are doing big business with the county government of Kakamega. So you'll need to respond to that. It's not as easy as you want to think.
Chairman, can I make a comment?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I think mine is just an observation that every time Mr. Tobiko, the DPP, comes here, he leaves us with a legislative challenge.
Yeah.
Because the way I'm understanding is, if I get him correctly, these things are there in this small book, but to be much better, much easier, much smoother, much easier to quickly act. The route to be more direct and get action quickly. IBC to be told this in no uncertain terms. If we get a way of anchoring in some statute or the other, and I think that challenge, I think as a parliament, we need to take it up. Because wherever I look at it, you end up with small splits. Somebody goes and claims something or other, and that little gap you take forever even to come out, such that some of these governors, Mr. Chairman, will run away with billions and billions, and we don't know even where to get them 10 years from here, just because of a small gap where, if it was in a statute where action, for example, if we said somehow, I believe we can, that although the person to stop the disbursement is the Cabinet Treasury, if we do it in such a way that the advice or that can be instituted or can be started by Senate or by Parliament, such that the action is this, then it becomes easier. Even if we go to court, you don't go round. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I want to bring this meeting to a close, but I'd like to request Honorable Lendema to introduce himself, to be on record that he attended this meeting. It's very important. Yeah.
Senator Henry Ndiema, Senator for Trans Nzoia County, and a member of this committee. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Henry. Finally, what the DP, just as a final comment, what the DPP has pointed out, that there are various parts of this constitution which, if we made legislation in line with those constitutional provisions, our work as an oversight committee will be much more effective. I think this is something that we shall recommend to the committee coming in. Fortunately, Senator Karwe, even if that law is made in the next Senate, and finally some governors who are in office today are caught up in that law of having misused public funds, we are actually rescued by Article 226(5), which says if the holder of a public office, including a political office, directs or approves the use of public funds contrary to law or instructions, the person is liable for any laws arising from that use and shall make good the laws, whether the person remains in the hold of the office or not. So we recommend to the next Senate to make sure that these laws are made, and that those people who think they want to get away with public funds, there's Article 226(5), which will still be enforced when we are all out of the Senate. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We meet tomorrow. I think we meet tomorrow at what time? What time do we meet tomorrow? So that the letter is very clear. 9? So that they go knowing. Yeah?
Chairman.
Please.
We need confirmation because, for example, IBC, she cited the CEO, we need to confirm. So
yeah, but we
have no problem, but the other...
Yeah, and if we say now, then they can go and prepare for the appropriate time. Yes?
Chairman, just in respect to the comments that have been made by Honorable Kalwale,
yeah,
we want to indicate that as an office, we really uphold integrity at the highest possible level. And in the event that there's any information with confidence, if we bring it to the attention of either the controller of budget herself or EACC, that is the body mandated to undertake such issues, we will actually take action. So in confidence, it can be anonymous reporting to the controller. Sometimes that necessitates you make an anonymous report to her. We will definitely take action on those cases. We will really appreciate to get that information as an office.
I was not going to do it anonymously. I was going to put it to the governor when he was now responding to oversight questions. So it will help. You don't have to wait. What we have said is on Hansard. It's now a record. You are now sufficiently provoked. But if you want me to do it, then I will not do it anonymously. I'll do it and write and sign and do it in public, because we are fighting corruption.
Okay, Senator Luale, let me say the following. I would encourage an interaction between you and the Office of the Controller of Budget on this issue. I think it is good they have opened up. They say they received the information. You have also opened up. So do them a letter detailing these things, and then we can deal with it. The issue can still come back to this committee once it's raised. So tomorrow, can we have the time? 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Sorry, Mr.
So
Chairman.
yes,
Chairman,
sure, yeah.
Just one small issue.
Yeah.
I was wondering whether perhaps it's the chairperson of the commission you should invite. Maybe he might be of better help than the CEO.
The chairperson of the commission,
yes,
and comes with the relevant officers, including the CEO.
Yes.
Because usually when we invite chairpersons, they must come with the accompany team. So you and the CEO should accompany the chairperson coming here. You particularly because you are here today. The CEO because he was the original invitee to come. But the chairman we shall invite. Yeah, thank you. Tomorrow 10, we meet here. Thank you. On the dot.
The Senate Public Accounts Committee there in a session there deliberating on county spending in Kakamega County. Governor Wycliffe Oparanya having been summoned by that committee on the way forward as regards and accountability as regards county spending within his county. That session will continue tomorrow at 10 a.m. But as I leave you, Joseph Nyaga will be formally announcing the launch of his independent candidacy campaign for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. He'll be laying out reasons behind his decision, explaining his vision for the country, and touching on his strategy to chart a unifying course